You need to sit forward a bit.
Yeah.
Are we here? Are we on? Can anybody see us? We're having all sorts of problems with oh, we are. We're live. Can you see us and can you hear us? Hello. I can see there's quite a few. It's been a day. It's been I'm looking at the wrong place now. Honestly, we were all ready to go, and then post-it notes have started falling off. Mike sat down, and there was a huge shadow behind me that looked like something was lurking.
My seat was too low.
seat was too low.
The two Ronnies.
So yeah, we did look like the two Ronnies. So we've had to try and work out how to adjust Mike's seat, but even that's not enough. He's on a couple of cushions. So yeah, because we've tried to squeeze in front of here. So yes, please say, are you here? It's Mr. Corbyn, Amanda.
Shame on you, Amanda.
Shame on you. It's true though. Can you hear me? Please say you can hear me. And can you see me? Us.
We can always all hear you.
We can. Well, yeah. That's another thing, isn't it? Let's have a look. We've got. Okay, let's start saying hello. We can hear and see. Thank you, Danny. Okay, hello, Freddie. Hello, Anna. Hi, Stephen.
I prefer Steve Jobs, by the way, to Jeremy Corbyn. Thank you, Anna.
Sharon. Hello, Sharon. Hi, Max. Hello, Danny. Of course, we've got Danny and Anna who. Oh, I think Anna's moderating. I've got to press a button. I'll be with you in a second, Anna. Hi, Joanne. Anna Jones. Hello, Amanda. AD. Hi, AD. Just up the road. We passed through. Sorry, I'm going completely off here. I'll come back. Hi, Tamsin. Garden myself happy. Hello, lovely to see you. Robin, Lynn. Oh, how lovely that you're all here. I've just actually sent a message to Danny, who was ready to do the moderation, and I said, it's just got to the stage a few minutes before a live, if you've ever done one before, where you start to panic and you think, will I press the right button? That's the first thing, mainly because it's gone wrong so many times, hasn't it, Mike? Mike wasn't grey before we started doing lives.
Had a full head of hair.
And then, why am I doing this to myself? And then, what if nobody turns up? So yeah, all three of those are in the past now. But yes, it's Mike's face. I know. Danny, you saying Mike's face. We've been to visit my parents today in Shropshire. So coming back to you, AD, in a minute, because we drove through where you are. And my mum, bless her, is suffering from dementia, and she takes great delight. I'm sure she's saying it deliberately, but we're thinking it's the dementia, in just looking over at wherever Mike is sitting and saying, look at him with that head. Or
another favourite, you're fat.
I think she's been dying.
Thank you.
I don't think she's got
Joan.
Dementia. I think she's been dying to say that for years, but now she pretends that she can't help it. Yeah. Hello, Ken. Hi, Rob. Hello, Amir. Lovely to see you. Yeah, AD, we drove through where you are, and the roads were absolutely shocking. In fact, where we are in Staffordshire, it's about 20 miles across the Shropshire border to go and see my parents. And had we known it was that bad before we'd left at dinner time, we wouldn't have gone, because I've never seen it as bad. You'll know the couple of stretches I mean, but it was at the A51.
I think other people from around the world will have seen it as
well.
bad.
They will have seen, but we hadn't really seen the news, and we were just preoccupied with other things, weren't we?
In places, it was this deep.
It was bad when you're in a car. In fact, if I'd been in my car, my little Beetle, I would have turned around and come home, because it wouldn't have got through the flood. So I hope you're okay, not too wet. I've spoken to Rue this evening. Oh, Anna's saying Tesco is flooded. Oh my God. Rebecca, how lovely to see you. How lovely for you to come on. That's really nice. Talking to Rue, who lives a little bit further on into North Wales. She's about 30 miles from here. Yep. And they'd been travelling today, and she said there were just recovery vehicles, police cars on the side of the road. The traffic was absolutely terrible. But thank goodness we're all home. We're all safe.
She loves a wild swim, but
she does like a wild swim. Not that
in
much.
These circumstances, no.
Yeah. Ada, I bet you're glad you live on a hill. I've always loved the idea of living by a river. But when it's like this, if you just look at the news from Shrewsbury, it's not worth it, is it? Hello, Siggy. Nice to see you. So before we get started, and before you can even speak,
okay,
can we just say Happy New Year? Oh, Mike's got water. That makes me look really bad. He's actually got Can I just show this? He has actually got this in the background. Yeah, but he's just pretending he's drinking water.
We're not sponsored by these people, but it would be amazing if we were.
It would be amazing if we were. Anna, I've got the glass from you, so thank you for that. Yeah, there are some really lovely people tonight, so thank you very much for joining us. We just thought, to be honest, we were going to do a New Year. We were going to do this, weren't we, on New Year's Eve, and we thought everyone's going to have better things to do apart from us. We didn't.
We had the neighbours in.
That was adventurous.
Yeah, we did. We had the neighbours in.
That's for another time. And then we thought we'd do it on New Year's Day, but someone else was doing a live. So we managed to get tonight sorted, didn't we? You know, because at the moment, there's so many people going live. Danny, who's on, I hope you're all going to go to Danny's live on Thursday night at 7:00, because that's been a real mainstay of the winter, over the winter months for me.
I'm going to go to Danny's this time.
No, you're not invited.
No, I'm going. I'm going to. What I mean is, I'm going to
don't
participate. I'm going to make comments.
Oh, don't.
All the way through.
Oh no, that's not good.
I'm going to drink 5 of those black sheep and then make tons of comments.
But if you haven't been to Danny's, it's worth going. Great. What's it called, Danny? Heard it through the grapevine. Heard it on the grapevine. It's very good. Anyway, I'm not going to say who the guests are this week, but you might be seeing me again on Thursday. I still have my little stop talking post-it note. We've got that many notes popped up here.
Danny, thank you for taking her off my hands for at least a couple of hours a week.
Yeah, a couple of hours a week, I know. Oh my goodness, the 2 rivers you live by. Oh, right, okay, you've got massive dams by you, Rebecca. We're just, over here, we just get caught out by any sort of weather that's not within a very tight regime, don't we? You know, so every time this happens.
Although we did have a hurricane the other day that blew some houses apart in Manchester. A mini hurricane, didn't we?
That was near Charlotte, our daughter, in Greater Manchester.
Yeah, that was quite spectacular, albeit contained.
Right, please have a back, Danny.
What's he saying?
He wants to give me the bag. Oh,
too late for that, mate.
Long.
Too late.
I know, it's too late. Garden Myself Happy. Ferryside near me had the lifeboat crew up to their waist trying to help people on New Year's Eve, and it's not. That's the whole thing. Oh, Happy New Year, Joanne. That's the whole thing. It hasn't let up. I'm so sorry if you're not in the UK and we're talking about the weather. I bet you, Stephen, I bet the weather by you gets far, far worse than this, but we do get fascinated, don't we, by any sort of change.
I think it must be great to live by a river. I'm from Newcastle, so of course the Tyne sort of runs through the centre of Newcastle, or separates Newcastle from Gateshead and Jarrow and things like that. But it's coastal, and it never bursts its banks, or it certainly doesn't. You know, where we used to live anyway. If it did, we'd be in trouble.
We've said this before. We're actually how many feet from the canal?
We're about
30
feet from the canal, and we're
downhill. We're on a downhill.
We're about 200 metres from the Trent, which regularly bursts its banks, but thankfully there's some floodplain down there.
Yeah, that they're about to build on. Typical. But yeah, I'm always thinking, every time it goes through my head, I hope those Victorians got their engineering right, because we shouldn't flood. The canal shouldn't flood, should it? Because if it did, we'd be a goner. Our house would be like the Ark. It'd be floating away down the road.
I think about our friends in Australia who end up with burst rivers.
Hi, Tony.
And then alligators swimming around in your front garden. I mean, that must be terrifying.
Yeah. Well, we don't have that, do we?
That would knock your concerns about, blighted cabbage and things into a cocktail.
I know.
Crocodile on the front lawn.
And anywho, we thought we'd go for a little bit of a theme tonight. And we just thought, well, to be honest, we thought about it in the floods on the way back from Mum and Dad's. We said, we better talk about something. So we thought we'd just start really by having a little think about what, thank you, Danny. Oh, I'll come back to that. What's gone right and what's gone, I don't like to say wrong. What's gone wrong in 2023 with regard to...
Can I just say, Jane, Tamsin says
the gardening.
There's crocs only up far north, so that's okay.
Oh, we're Tamsin! Oh my goodness. Whereabouts are you? Because I think that would just be Mike's nightmare, wouldn't it? That and sharks. I think it'd be all right from sharks.
I wouldn't pick in on any creature that would drag you into the water, then pull you apart.
We got the odd frog and the odd rat, but I don't think even a rat would be that mean.
No,
would it really?
no.
I'm
You
probably
might be
not that
you might be
capable.
menaced by a wild pig at some point.
Yeah. You don't want a kangaroo. You certainly don't want a kangaroo.
No,
So,
they're
Mike,
aggressive.
I'm going to start with you.
Jane doesn't tell you what the topics are, by the way, before
No.
we start, to keep things fresh.
I just don't think of them. It's always very spare at the moment. You know that. Mike, we've got the most ridiculous stools. That is proving it out. And we're on wooden floorboards. So, yeah, it's very strange. What's been your... Should we start with a negative? Should we start with a negative or a positive?
As we're English, why don't we start with a massive negative?
A massive negative. What's been your massive negative from 2023?
Allotment related?
Yeah. Yeah. Because otherwise that might end up in divorce, mightn't it?
I think our onions have been dire.
Yeah.
I think our main crop onions have been absolutely dire.
Yeah.
And we've had years where we've had massive success with shallots and long red Florence shallots and then kind of giant onions and things like that. But this year, for whatever reason, whether we grew them in raised beds or in those kind of, what are they called again? Those pallet tops that we put together? Well, they're raised beds anyway.
Beds. Yeah.
And no matter what we did with them, I think it was the combination of weather that we had this year. They were just really, really disappointing.
Mm.
And they've stored really, really badly as well.
They're stored badly, and I'm going to sneeze. Sorry, Tamsin's just saying she's in Canberra.
Oh. So they were disappointing, Jane. And our beans were very good. Our beans, we love to grow Borlotti beans, and broad beans are okay. The broad beans are always sort of pretty steady, but Borlotti beans and our French beans weren't very good. No.
So onions and beans, and the thing with the onions, it actually looked like we harvested quite a lot, but they'd all been gotten. We realised this with the garlic and the leeks. Once you start to prepare them for storage, they'd all got allium leaf miner. So we've had that every year, haven't we, on the current plot? So this year they're going in completely fresh soil. They're going to go in the pallet collar beds. So we're going to have a whole one for the garlic. When the garlic goes in, sorry, Danny, it still hasn't gone in.
And we're going to use those high beds
in there.
We're going to use those high beds to make life a little bit easier for ourselves in terms of weeding and kind of maintenance of those kind of hard to care for crops.
Yeah.
That's the idea. I mean, we did grow some fantastic white Lisbon onions.
Oh, they were brilliant. People thought they were leeks,
yeah,
but they were actually
so thick, weren't they?
They were actually spring onions.
And actually, we chopped those and bunged them in the freezer, and they've gone into stir fries and risottos and all kinds of things all year.
Yeah.
But we started them off in the seed trade, didn't we? And then we put them all outside into one of our first raised beds, and they were brilliant.
Yeah. They were okay.
Are we still on the negatives though?
We're still on the negatives. But yeah, the leeks are also in one of those beds this year, again, because of the allium leaf miner. So it should be fresh soil. If any eggs have overwintered in the soil where the onions were last year, they're not going to find any onions. They'll probably fly over and find our onions where we planted them. But we've covered them in netting. So we're trying everything, because onions are just one of those things you just want to have. And the beans.
You want some variety, don't you? You want some interest there.
The beans. Did you mention the snails?
No.
Oh my goodness, that was the problem with the beans. It was so wet. I think we've mentioned this before, but we'd interplanted the rows of beans with swede. Your fault, Danny.
Terrible idea. Not saying it's a terrible idea of yours, Danny, but it was a terrible idea.
It was a terrible idea. And kohlrabi and something else, and that just made
parsnip.
Lovely. Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Parsnip they just disappeared.
And that just made a lovely haven for slugs and snails. And the amount, we just couldn't believe it. You would walk down the bean rows, and if you've seen the videos, they're quite long. They're about 12 foot on each side, double rows. And you'd just have them. You just pick them off. You'd have handfuls of snails.
Good news for the chickens, because you could pick them off like it was like a handful of boiled sweets.
Yeah.
And then just give them a bit of a tap with a spade. Yeah, and then off to our friends the chickens.
Yeah, exactly. Joanne, yes, daffodil bulbs. There's something you can still put them in, but it's always too wet. You get to the point where, I know, Tony, I've seen pictures of you out cleaning your greenhouse or the poly in this rain, but it's too wet to be working the land, working the soil, even in raised beds. It's just too wet to go out there at the moment.
Not for serious gardeners, but definitely for us.
Aluminium leaves. Stephen, do you mean allium leaf miner?
We've never had a problem with aluminium leaves.
We haven't had aluminium leaves yet, but never
But if we
say
could
never.
grow some aluminium, we'd be taking it down the scrap metal merchant.
Yeah, it sounds a bit silly, doesn't it? No, allium leaf mine is a horrible little grub that burrows into your alliums.
And the heart of your leeks, and then it just spoils them basically. It makes onions impossible to keep.
Yeah. Oh, Robin, we've never really got into dehydrating anything other than I did chilies one year. Never again. You couldn't walk in the kitchen without your eyes burning what seemed like days. And tomatoes, I've never thought of dehydrating onions. But I suppose, with sea salt, that would be lovely. Yeah, Amanda, I think it probably does get through mesh netting. I've got EnviroMesh over the leeks and will have over the garlic because they will just go through the mesh. And that has worked before in the past, but it might be a case if it's really bad, we might have to try fleece. Thing is, you don't know until they've taken hold, have you? Hi, Fergus. Yeah, so...
We did have a neighbour once who used to pour Jay's fluid, watered down Jay's fluid all over the beds that he was going to put his onions in. Actually, over the onions as well.
No, he'd say right in the centre of the onion.
Oh, yeah.
In the centre of the leaves. That's all you need to... do his voice. All you need to do is mix up a little bit of Jay's fluid, tip it so it goes right down into the centre of the onion. He says, that'll get rid of them. And I've got to say, how beautiful onions, but I wouldn't want to eat them.
And it got rid of everything else as well.
It did.
It killed all the worms, it killed anything that was beneficial to the soil, I think.
Yeah.
But he's still knocking around and he's still gardening.
He is. He has dehydrated garlic as well, Stephen. That sounds good. What was this? Siggy. Yeah, that's interesting that you say about the taste of the tomatoes. Siggy's saying that she planted them outside and it was so wet, the taste wasn't as good. And I had an issue this year with Brad's Atomic Grape, and we grew it in the polytunnel. And I'd saved seeds, and it just, when you first have it, it's just such a unique flavour. I absolutely loved it, and I was so looking forward to it. And I sent seeds to a few friends, and they were saying to me, "What's all the fuss about?" And I was saying, "Just wait. They're obviously not ripe enough." But ours just weren't the same. And I think, same as you, even though they were in the polytunnel, I think I probably overwatered them. And I'd never thought before about overwatering affecting something's taste, but of course it must do, mustn't it? It must dilute the flavour. So yeah. Change the bed and net through the next season, Danny. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
It's a good idea, Lynn.
Plant leeks into tube. Oh, that's it. Yeah. Nice idea, that, Lynn. Just down from me. Lynn says, "Oh, no, I'm sorry, I haven't got the facility like Fancy Danny and Tony to put comments up on the screen. So you just have to put up with me reading them out unless you can see them." An older plot holder just down from me used to plant leeks into tubes and said it helped with leaf miner and blanching leek leaves. I've never tried it. Can understand the blanching leek leaves.
It's creating a barrier, isn't it?
I suppose, yeah.
Creating a little bit of a barrier, so maybe it would work.
I suppose, yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? It makes sense. There was someone up there. Was it Nicola? Oh, yeah, Nicola, you're watching from Hospital A&E. Now, I'm assuming you're receiving treatment, or do you work there? Whichever it is, I hope you're okay. It's not
Please don't neglect the patients. Just to having it right. I wonder if you're watching on one of those gigantic tellies they have in A&E.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that put them all to sleep, wouldn't it?
You know the massive, great white TVs they've got?
No, I don't know what you mean.
You have to pay about 10 quid a day. You're already in A&E, now you've got to watch a terrible television.
Oh, no. I wouldn't like to see myself on the screen that big.
Oh, not A&E, actually. Intensive care.
Oh,
bit different.
Well, when have you last been in intensive care? Oh. To Margaret.
2 years ago when my mum died.
Oh. Yeah, another good idea. Yeah, I've heard that, Danny. Before my last harvest of tomatoes, I stopped watering for a week, and you find the tomatoes are more intense. I stopped watering for a good few weeks before. Once we're sort of halfway through the main harvest, I just get to the point where you just think, should I bother? You just can't be bothered, can you, after a while? Although today, yesterday I went and bought some nice tomatoes, because I've been saying to you, I really fancy a tomato. Because over Christmas, It's just stodge, isn't it? I mean, we have loads of vegetables, but you don't get that lovely fresh flavour. So tonight we had a warm salad, which Mike always laughs at because he said, well, it's just a salad that's gone to room temperature, but there we go. Yeah, I know. Traumatic enough, Danny. Okay, Roma tomatoes, sliced the long way in a giant bowl. That's perfect, isn't it, Stephen? Pour on a bit of oil and basil and other Italian herbs shredded. Oh, and then you dry them. Okay, so Robin, Stephen, when you dry them, are you using like a big dehydrator? Or are you drying them in the oven? Don't tell me you dry them outside in the sun, because I won't believe you, frankly.
In Australia, maybe.
Maybe Tamsin, maybe you can. But yeah, well, it's a match made in heaven, isn't it? Fresh, tasty tomatoes, balsamic vinegar, basil, and a little bit of cheese, a little bit of feta cheese.
Oh, mozzarella. Tall mozzarella.
What's that called? That's a something salad, isn't it? It is actually a something salad. Pop it on if you know what I mean. You know what I mean, though, don't you? That's all you need. It's just so fresh. Hello, Marion. Nice to see you. Happy New Year. Yes, we've talked about the weather, Marion. It's flooding the place. It's not nice at all up here. Apparently, it's worse down south, but...
Yeah. No, Danny, no news on my mini channel or segment of a channel. I'm still thinking about what I might do or what Jim might let me do.
Mike is always coming up with ideas. Today, his idea was, you mentioned before, Danny, about the 10 questions series that's going out at the moment that I'm really, really enjoying. And every time, I hate watching them back. Once you've edited, if you make videos, you might know what I mean. Once you've spent so long editing them, it can be, I think when it's something like an interview, I get quite embarrassed watching myself back. And so Mike says, come on, he's trying to be supportive. And he says, come on, let's watch it. And I just know that he's going. And Mike's thing today, Mike's little nugget was, I shouldn't talk. I should just stop talking. But I like the chat side of it. I really like the chat side of it. So what I said to Mike, this is coming back round to your point, Danny. What I said to Mike was, if he wants to do it his way, he would be very welcome to do it on the channel. I would give him a little space. I'd even, do the technical side for him. But will he do it?
What I could do a channel called
Caprese Salad. Thanks, Tamsin.
I could do one called When the Talking Stops. And then I could say something that could get fast forwarded.
Okay.
So that people could then slow it down if they needed to, so that Jane could keep up her, the amount of talking that she needs to do. That would be good.
Or maybe
just speed it up so you shouldn't get me into 30 seconds or so.
Maybe I could do a voiceover.
Yeah,
you could interview someone.
I could do like the history of gardening, but you could condense it into about 30 seconds just by speeding me up.
Yeah. Or cutting you out. Or just cutting you out. No, but I think he should do a lot more, Danny. I think, and a lot of people have asked that. We had the Cookery Nook last year. We had the homemade pesto in the Cookery Nook.
I'm thinking about doing one called Cut Out Danny, which is just my own channel based on things where I'm just cut out of Jane's videos. There's got to be several minutes of that. There's at least one video already, I think, in that one.
Rebecca, you lost your dehydrator. Stephen said he uses one that's about 20 years old. Okay. You lost your 6-tray dehydrator, but you've been using an air fryer at the low temperature setting. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, another use for the air fryer. It's not going to happen. Yeah. It's we need to do more of it. We were talking about. We've gone right off the topic again, haven't we?
We do buy kind of gadgety things sometimes.
No, we bought a dehydrator. Must be about 6 years ago, and it was not quite the cheapest one on Amazon. So it's very, very basic.
It takes about 10 years to dry a tomato.
Yeah. So, we did apples and pears one year in it. That was
they
nice.
were amazing. But again, with the cost of living, or the cost of fuel and energy now, the amount of time it takes you to basically create an apple strip, it's not really worth it, is it?
I know, that is the thing. Right, okay, we'll come back because I want to.
We should come back to storage.
Mike's got more notes than me. I've only got a couple of things jotted down. Mike's got 2 A4 pages stuck on with masking tape. Can you actually see Mike? Because he's actually got the page stuck. No, I know. Well, you can see when you do that, but let's just.
Oh, of course you can, because the camera's here.
I know, but I can't see that half of you.
Goodness, Jane.
He's got this big
Jane,
thing.
don't spoil the magic. Don't spoil the magic.
Okay. Silent chats. Yeah. Silent chats. Thanks, Lynn. Whose side are you on? Oh dear. Okay. That's yes. Right. So that were the negatives. They were the negatives. And I think we both agreed on that. So the weather was a huge con. But we're going to have to get used to that. We're stuck with it, aren't we? Pros. I've got some. Have you got some? Let's compare.
I think we had some successes. I think it wasn't an amazing year, but we had some successes.
Yeah.
Those White Lisbon were great.
Yeah.
Our first early potatoes were pretty good. They were okay, so we did well with them early on.
Mm.
We had some success with squash. Despite putting them in far too late, they were lovely, and we still got some of them to enjoy, to look forward to.
Yes, we have.
Some Crown Prince squash, my favourite squash of all.
Lots of squash.
Great keeper, very tasty, great to roast.
Mm.
I'm not sponsored by
Squash.
Crown Prince squash, but if I was, that would be okay.
Yeah.
What about you? What are your big successes?
Well, it's funny you should ask, Mike, because I have a short list.
Okay.
This time last year, we started up the Patreon channel. This is not a link to Patreon, but that has been really lovely over the last year. It's just expanded the community that much more, and it's enabled us, or it's helped us do things like the shed coming up. That's linked. Do you see how I did that? That's linked. And the shed. It was a huge project
for us,
because just getting the time, and when we had the time, having the weather. I mean, saying before, Tony, about going out in the rain, we were going up there in the snow, weren't we, sometimes, trying to get bits and pieces done. As it was April by the time it was finally finished.
Well, that's been great.
We just love it. I'm sure you've seen it. That's been a real highlight for me last year.
And it just gave us the chance to use some old windows that we'd acquired.
Yeah.
If anybody's seen the videos.
Yeah. Hey, Julie.
There was reclaimed wood involved in them, pallet wood on the floor.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So that was good. And that links onto my next two favourite bits, actually. For me, I mean, it sounds awful because it's not actually of anything we've grown. Yes, it is. I'll come. Right. Okay. Bear with me. So the shed documented the whole thing. And I approached Kitchen Garden magazine and got my first article published. No, that wasn't my first one. That was my second one. But I also managed I got the Allotment Journey published. Yeah. And that's been a huge pro for me this year, or last year. It was starting to get things published. It sounds daft, but I was really proud of that. And I've actually written one of my deadlines was yesterday for my 4th article, so I will have had 4 going in, and hopefully that'll keep up. And because one of the articles, these links are so tenuous, aren't they, is about the dahlias, which is one of my favourite things that I grew last year. So I think dahlias, favourite thing I grew, favourite things that happened, the Patreon channel, the shed, and the writing.
Fantastic thing.
So it's been quite. It's only when you look back and you think, the onions were a bit rubbish and so. And actually, I put a 2-minute again for the patrons. I put a 2-minute or 3-minute montage together of the year, and it was just looking at photographs with some plinky plonky piano music, and it's then when you look back, which is why I always say, take a photo, do a video, do something, that you realise just how much you've done. And it looked nice, didn't it? It looked, you don't realise it at the time.
It looked great, and it was published in a magazine that we buy.
Yeah.
That's freely available in the old corner shop, in the old newsagent, available from all fine purveyors of.
That was the first one.
Gardening-related magazines.
That was the first one. So I'm really pleased with that. That's good.
Super exciting thing.
Yeah. So, the shed bit, we love it, So, and the other lovely thing about the shed is we're very lucky that the people around us at the allotment we're really good friends with, and we can say to them, it starts to rain, come to us, and we can all gather in the shed. So it's a really sociable place, isn't it?
Rebecca's just saying, wasn't your channel rebrand last year as well?
Oh, yes, it was. Yes, it was. That was Tony's fault, wasn't it?
She should have had a name competition, I think, for that.
Well, I dread to think what
a new name.
No.
No?
No. You know, Tony, how long it took me to change the name. And it didn't change very much, but I could have done, but I would try to think what people would have. What would you have said?
I think I said the Hillside Garden because it is on the side of a hill, but
it's
probably
not on
there's
the
already
side
a
of
Hillside
hill.
Garden.
Yeah, but it's not on the side of a hill.
And Danny's got the Grapevine Garden already, hasn't he? We've got a grapevine. We could have been a grapevine garden too, couldn't we? The other Grapevine Garden.
Hello, Kitchen Garden. Hello. Yeah. So
I think Pootling About would have been a good name.
Pootling
About with Jane.
It's the magazine. Being as you asked, Stephen, it's Kitchen Garden magazine. I'm not sure if it is in the States. Someone's told me before. But this one was which issue was it? The September issue. And then which one was this?
Is that your photograph, by the way?
No. This one was the September issue. And then I had one in the October issue as well, which Mum and Dad have got because they keep showing everybody. And then I've got one coming up in the February issue and one coming up in the March issue, and hopefully there'll be several more after that. But yeah, Kitchen Garden, it's a nice, what I like about it, it's a garden magazine. I'm doing an advert.
It's a garden magazine
for gardeners. It's not, there are lovely ones like Gardener's World, and they'll show you lovely aspirational pictures, but this is actually lots of pictures and things about actual people doing things in their actual gardens, which is lovely, so yes.
Real humble people.
We spent hours convincing. I know, and I still wouldn't get rid of the Jane, would I, Tony? No.
Rob, that's a massive shame.
Can't get it in Holland. Can't get what in Holland?
We're going to start a campaign.
Okay. Thanks, Freddie. That's
Kitchen
very
Garden.
Kind. Oh, right. Oh, okay. I think you can get it across Europe, but maybe it's just digital. I don't know. But yes, they were my pros. And they were my cons. Let us know in the comments. Let us know what have been should we start with cons? What's been your worst thing of 2023 regarding growing? Let's have a little look and see if we've all got the same, or, what was your worst crop? What went terribly wrong? What didn't do what it was supposed to do? Oh, Jane. That's okay. You can be another Jane. You're probably a far better Jane than I am.
I've got another disaster.
Oh,
can I go back to one disaster? That's a perennial disaster.
Very quick.
Oh, crikey! It's gone up my head now. You've put me off. The Italian cauliflower.
Romanesco.
Oh my God! Every year we try to grow this stuff. We've only ever seen it in places like Lichfield, little sort of market garden centres in little market gardens in Lichfield and Ludlow. A little bit of a sort of a gourmet delight.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen it, it's a beautiful looking thing, but we cannot get it to grow.
You know what? As I was looking through the pictures to do the little snippet of 2023, there was a picture from a couple of years ago, from January.
Yeah. Of the
with
start.
A Romanesco. And it looked like it was all coming.
It looked like it was, and then you turn your back,
yeah,
and it's all, Yeah.
It's
a temperamental
we need to do
creature.
that. We need to do it. We need to look after it really. Freddie, runner beans. The same with us with the runner beans. And people say, how can you not grow runner beans? They're the easiest thing to grow. But it wasn't that they didn't grow. It was as soon as they grew, they were eaten by snails.
And we did try that, Tony. We planted ours in beds that were no dig beds, topped up with compost, chicken manure pellets thrown on there as well. And when the heads started to form, we did actually bend the leaves in, but they just didn't come to anything. I mean, no. I don't know. It's been a difficult year. Perhaps somebody should do a Romanesco challenge and see how many people are actually successful with that one.
Not me. Who said Swede? Yeah, Tony said Swede. And
Terrible.
You've got the Swede champion just up your road, haven't you? Amanda.
Who's that?
Tony.
Who's the Swede champion?
The man who does the giant Swede. Didn't he give?
Danny?
No, didn't he give you some seeds? Oh, they didn't grow very big. But I thought he was quite close.
I think these seed champions do that.
Right, just to keep themselves
Look
champions.
at the size. You've got the onions this big, and then they kind of pass you a little pack of Red Baron.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Blight, Amanda, again. And that's something we've got to get used to, isn't it? Because it's only going to get wetter and warmer. There we go. That's a cheery 2024 thing. Yeah. Anna did say fungal gnats. Anna's my daughter, and she's moved into her new place last year, and she loves her houseplants. And of course, when you first get a houseplant, not like this one behind me here that's on its last legs, they do look beautiful, don't they? But inevitably,
especially when they're growing out of your head.
Inevitably, as they adjust to your environment, they change. And so Anna's, some of hers just started wilting. So every now and then she'd send me a little picture and say, "What's wrong?" But one of the things you suffered with, Anna, was your fungal gnats. They're not very nice and almost impossible to get rid of once they're in the soil. You just have to wash the whole root system and repot. But yeah.
Rue's in the house.
Hey, Rue, I was just talking about you, Rue, earlier, and the floods and the flooded roads that you were going through to get home. So yeah, I'm glad you're home. Well, I'm hoping you're home okay. You're not sitting in an AA truck, because it's been pretty rotten round here. Potatoes, blight, the whole lot, Anna. That's a shame. We'll come back to potatoes later.
The fungal gnat sounds like either a gnat that lives on fungus or a gnat which actually is made out of fungus. What is it?
It's very, very wet conditions.
Okay.
Wet conditions in your soil, and it gets some sort of fungus.
And then the gnat feeds on the fungus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That's really interesting. Danny, look at this comment. This wet weather has ruined my recently planted garlic.
Wow.
So there's something to be said about keeping your garlic back a little bit. How's it ruined it? Has it just washed it away? Has it washed the soil off? I'm wondering.
I wonder if it'll come back.
Oh, Rue got good Swedes. Okay. Kept over water. Yeah, you keep over water in your indoor plant. I know you sent me a picture yesterday, didn't you, Anna? One with yellow leaves. But it's killing with kindness, isn't it, really? Oh, no, Tony. I hope they weren't watering all the plants in your lovely studio. It's like a jungle in there, isn't it? You come back and it'd be like a desert. So, spuds are good. I'm glad you're home safely, Rue. That's lovely. Yes, Rebecca's here. That's nice, isn't it? Okay. The soil I'm trying to build near at the moment is like clay, and when it's wet, I sink in my way. Oh, my goodness. So we're so lucky we haven't got clay soil, although so many things grow well in it. On top. Oh, here we go. A layer of gravel on top of soil of indoor. Oh, did you see that, Anna? Tamsin says a layer of gravel on the top of the soil of your indoor pots helps prevent gnats, or just growing in leca only. Not sure what leca is. Okay.
I think it's a growing medium.
Yeah. That's interesting, though. That is interesting. Oh, it rotted them.
Oof.
That's a shame. Yeah. Tried planting garlic in cells. Yeah, we've done that before, Rebecca. Not this year, not yet. Roma tomatoes outside, got blight. I think this year, every year we say we're not going to put tomatoes outside because of the blight. And I've got to say, the polytunnel ones this year were absolutely fine, weren't they? There was no sign of blight until maybe as I was clearing them out right at the very end. It might be that we have more blight in there next year. But every year I think I'm not going to bother doing them outside again. Every year I do. Anna will try and sort you out some of that gravel, okay? Because you'll probably be able to get it somewhere like B&M. You know what I mean? Especially going to use perlite or vermiculite or anything like that, really. Gardener's grit, yeah. Hello, garden makeover. Okay, leca, expanded kiln-dried clay. Right, okay, that's what you're saying, Tony. Yeah, okay, interesting. Okay, so right then, they're the cons. What are your pros? What have been your best things this year? Come on, we've told you ours, even though mine didn't have anything to do with gardening. But Mike's did. Yours was all your squash, wasn't it? So come on, let's see your best ones. Spuds, okay, Tony. You've done really well. Okay, well, there you go. Kitchen garden. Beans. Okay, well, it just goes to show, doesn't it?
Can I ask Tony a question?
Me and Freddie.
Can I jump in and ask Tony a question here? Tony, were your spuds in the soil, or did you use pots, or did you use a mixture of both? Because we used pots kind of pretty heavily for the first time.
Yeah.
I think we got it wrong in terms of the mixture of compost to soil. They were pretty heavily compost based. The pods got really waterlogged,
You'll have to watch.
despite them being pretty well drained.
Are you ready for this, Tony? You'll have to watch Tony's video.
I will. I will confess, I'm not a massive video watcher.
He doesn't. He does mine under duress. In fact, I'd rather he didn't. But yeah, he did well. Yeah, beans. So, you know, some people are getting really good beans, some people aren't. Onions, Rue, we've just said about our allium leaf miner. I know you always get good onions, and you always grow from sets, don't you? Is it Red Baron? And the other one? I know we're trying to do more seeds this year. We haven't sown them yet, have we?
We should.
As with everything, we're supposed to have been sowing them this week, but we've been a bit busy. So yeah. But Rudolph have done well, but you put them in late. Okay. Oh, goodness, Tamsin, we can get specially formulated indoor potting mix in Australia to prevent gnats. So I take it then it must be a real issue over there for them to be able to, or for them to have been almost forced to do a specialist potting mixture. That's interesting. Ailsa Craig, brilliant. Massive tomato harvest this year. Good. Strawberries. Now, ours were brilliant the year before last. And then this last year, they're coming to the end. We need to replant them this year, don't we?
Our overwintering onions were better than the regular onions, weren't they? Yeah. The Japanese overwintering, they were definitely better. Has anybody grown a potato, a first early variety called Accent?
Oh.
I was reading about Accent today.
Yeah.
On the oh crikey, what is it now? I think UK gardening website. I think that's what it is. And somebody on there was talking about how these things were award-winning in 2019. Lovely waxy flesh, apparently, but I've never heard of them before.
What are they called? Accent.
Accent. Yeah. They're a heavy-yielding, light yellow tuber.
All right.
With a very waxy consistency.
Oh, okay.
Good in salads, Jane.
Anyone grown that? So is it new?
No, I think it's been knocking around for a little while, but I've never seen it in a garden centre or anything like that.
Of course, Tamsin, I'm forgetting you're in your summer now, aren't you?
Oh, Tamsin.
You know, so yeah. So you're getting all the tomatoes. You'll be sick of tomatoes, and here's me on the other side of the world yearning for a fresh, tasty tomato. But yeah, they're not the same. Yeah, potatoes. Come on, Mike. Let's talk about your decision with potatoes this year.
My decision.
Mike's the potato man.
Well, I'm just looking at Tony's comment actually about mixing compost with coir, which I can never say that. Is it coir? Coir. I like that idea.
Coir.
I like the idea of trying pots again, giving that another go. I think I'm probably leaning towards not growing main crop potatoes because we're just very bad at storing them. And I think you don't get quite the same sort of bang for your buck as you do with earlies.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to try Accent.
Yeah.
And Red Duke of York, I think, this year for a bit of variety. And we always grow Charlotte.
Yeah.
Because our daughter's called Charlotte.
Yeah.
We don't grow Anna, despite the other daughter being called Anna.
No, that's wrong, isn't it? And we can't grow Rudolph because we haven't got anyone called Rudolph.
Well, it's a less flavoursome potato, I think.
Yeah.
So Red Duke of York, I think, for mash.
Is that?
And I think they can get a little bit bigger as well.
I'd like to do pink fir apple again.
Well, pink fir apple. They're great comedy value, aren't they?
No, they're just tasty. They're really so tasty.
And they're the only potato that could look like an old person going to the shops with a poodle.
Yeah,
you know, or something like that, or a space alien. They're very unusual in that regard.
Okay. Where are the Anna potatoes and Rocky? You should have Rocky potatoes. Pete is much easier to say than coir.
Look for coir in Morrison's or get it from the druggies.
Get it from the druggies. Look for coir in Morrison's. So what, like in the garden centre?
I'm going to try the druggies now.
We usually add it. No. Rocket potatoes. That's good. Yes, Anna, starter potato. Rude, don't encourage her.
We've grown rocket before. They were great.
Yeah, they are nice. They're nice. But you're not going to grow main crop, are you?
I don't think it's worthwhile for us.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they just take up such a lot of space. Now, even though we've got a big plot, it's not that big.
Yeah.
But my exciting news is that I've been given around a quarter of a plot by a plot neighbour who's taken on a new plot.
Mm.
And she knows that I like to grow squash, and she knows it takes up too much space. So she's given me a big chunk of that of ground, and I'm going to be able to grow several varieties of squash on that ground.
That is lovely. Can I just sorry, Mike, that was really interesting. It is interesting, and I know how excited you are. But this is very common. My potatoes always go mushy when I cook them. Steamed, boiled, etc. makes no odds. They look good, but within 5 minutes they fall apart. Under or over watering, do you think? I think it's probably down to, I mean, Tony, you can join in on this one. I would say it's either down to the variety, or have you let them cure? With new potatoes, you don't let them cure because their skin's so waxy anyway. And you can just boil them as is. But if you've got a main crop potato that you haven't cured, it can just go to almost like a glue, so
Jane, well, on that question again, kitchen garden, I mean, you'd be hard pressed to turn pink fir apple into anything mushy.
No, that's true, but again, that's down to variety, isn't it? Because it's a very, very waxy potato.
They're super waxy, and I think accent are as well, so they're great in salads. You can mash them, but they don't fall apart in the pan like other potatoes do.
Yeah.
They're probably a good shout for you.
Sorry, I was sneezing again. Never boil a fresh potato. Yeah, you're right, Danny, because they will just. What is it about them then? There must be a chemical thing that happens that bonds all the potato molecules. I feel like those of you who remember the 70s for Mash Gets Smashed, I feel like one of those little aliens trying to work out the molecular structure of a potato.
At a certain temperature, the starch enzymes start to vibrate against each other and explode.
Oh, that sounds good enough, doesn't it? Yeah, okay, we'll stick with that. But yeah, it's a mistake you can make. You can boil some fresh from the garden, new potatoes.
Oh, they're amazing.
They are amazing, but not your main crops. Never boil fresh potatoes, fry them directly. Waxy potatoes. Charlotte and pink fir. That's just a good suggestion. Why would you want anything else? Unless you want something like for chips. Although pink fir apple is main crop, isn't it?
Yeah. But you can have them. But
you're not going to make it into chips. Let's face
Some people have got them in the polytunnels already, including our excellent neighbour Alan. He's put his out already, or he's put some potatoes out already. And he had first earlies last year, super early, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, fresh Charlotte boils fine. It does. That's what I mean, Amanda. Yeah, he comes over. He always has potatoes before anyone else.
Yeah, you come across a little pan. And so just have one of them. Have one of them. What do you think of that?
That's what he talks about.
He does talk like that.
Oh, we have to. We're standing on the doorstep and
you
each have a potato and we go, oh, that's really nice.
That is
amazing.
And you are thinking, I've only just planted mine this week.
But I don't know what variety they are. But yeah, they're really good. They're really good. Steam spuds, Fergus. Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so sorry, Mike. Would you like to go back to your squash patch? Recap. Mike's been offered a patch of, they're quite big allotments. A neighbour has gone from quarter of an allotment next to us to a whole allotment to herself.
Yeah.
And she needs a hand managing it, really. So you've been given a patch to do, haven't you?
Yeah.
Which means that he's probably never going to venture into our allotment again because ours is far too down the lane for you. You're just going to stop off at that allotment and go in and you'll have your own little patch of land. Your own little spade.
Mike's land.
Mike's patch.
And Jane will be banned from that land.
I probably will. Yeah. Okay. And so
unless I grow something amazing, in which case you might want to come across the video, record that amazing thing.
And then cut it out.
So I'm going to grow, and I'd be interested in your recommendations. If you can, if you've got anything, a good alternative to some of these varieties.
Go on.
But I'm going to grow Blue Hubbard.
Yes. Which are they the big ones? Huge.
Big.
Like Zeppelins.
Lovely firm flesh, good for roasting, good for soups.
Yeah.
I'm going to try a smaller variety of the Hubbard called Golden Hubbard.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to try Marina de Chogia, which we've tried before and it didn't quite work out. I think it kind of cross-pollinated with something else or fertilized with something else.
We got one and it was good.
Yeah. But I just love the look of those. And then...
Uchiki curry?
I don't think so. Crookneck. I'm going to grow crookneck squash.
No, are they like the Trampantino?
Which I think look really interesting.
No, I don't like
them. They look like Gonzo from the Muppet Show, in all kinds of different sort of colours and textures. But apparently taste really good, really nutty.
Yeah.
And I've got to grow the old Crown Prince again.
Yeah.
Because the Crown Prince
are lovely.
If there's a better keeper that tastes better than that, and better roasted, which is how I like squash, I'd love to hear about that. But if anybody's got any recommendations, I'd be very grateful to know what those...
Well, Danny did mini Blue Hubbards last year. How big were mini ones then, Danny? Because these, do you mean like patty pan style or baby boo style? Because I always think of those as mini
Because
squash.
of course we grew some
bluebirds-
mini squash.
Yeah, but they weren't.
It's
mini
about the size of a
bluebirds.
tennis ball, and within about 5 weeks, you couldn't cut through them.
No, that was interesting actually, because actually the baby boo. There was baby boo and there was Jack B. Little, and one the flesh stayed quite soft, and one the flesh really cured.
They'd have been very good for throwing in a burglar. But that would be about it, really.
Spaghetti, Tony, the spaghetti squash. I don't know. When I've seen people harvest it and cook it, it doesn't appeal to me. It looks watery. Do you know what spaghetti squash is, don't you?
I'm just thinking I might have to grow Long Island cheese. But Tamsin's talking about a Long Island cheese. What a great name.
Ooh. But yeah, it's spaghetti squash. I imagine it's like a more watery version of butternut. And that's what I think about the crookneck ones, though. If you mean like tromboncino, I think people grow them for how they look, and then they can take lots of hilarious photographs of them. But I think they're like butternuts. But there's another one here.
Tony's got an interesting one.
Long Island cheese. Hold on.
Jaune et vert.
Jaune et vert. Something in green. Yellow?
Yellow and green. Yellow and green.
But also Burgess Buttercup. Oh, I've seen that one before. That sounds nice. Burgess Buttercup. Okay. Grew spaghetti squash a couple of years ago, but didn't enjoy cooking them. I know.
So if you had one squash, just one to grow, what is the one? I go with the Crown Prince. Any advance on Crown Prince?
You cheeky curry.
You cheeky devil.
Okay, let's see. Tromboncino, great for cooking because they're easy to clean. Yeah, I suppose you're right there. Crown Prince from Tony. Oh, again, the mashed potato squash. I feel a bit similar to the spaghetti. If I want mashed potato, it sounds awful, don't
and
I?
they should work though, shouldn't they? Because they're a little bit like sweet potato in a way.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, they could be mashed in with all kinds of different things actually.
Yeah.
South Anna butternut. We haven't mentioned butternut.
I mentioned butternut.
And I like butternut.
We can never grow it.
I guess it's so readily available in the shops as well at reasonable prices. That's the other thing about it. Whereas you're never going to see something like a Crown Prince.
Okay, so is the Hunter? Is that the Waltham Hunter, Tony? That's the one we've tried before. Turk's Turban. We've grown that in the past. And it looks beautiful.
I think it tastes that good.
Yeah, but the look of it,
and the pumpkin,
it's fantastic.
Pumpkins aren't very good, are they?
Burgess or Crown Prince to me, maybe Turk's Turban. Okay, so what's the name of the ones that are like segmented? I was trying to explain this to Mike before, but we were going through a big puddle. They're segmented like an orange if you peel it. Are they called walnut squash? Like a Cinderella pumpkin squash. So they've got. Let me know because that's what I'd like. Hello, Nancy. Lovely to see you. Acorn. Yes, that's what I'd like to grow some acorn squash. I'm not going to be allowed to grow any.
Do you know what we'll use this chat when it comes to ordering some squash, and we're definitely going to pick up on at least 3 of the recommendations from here. Definitely.
Amanda says, does anyone have a recommendation for a reliable broccoli, proven, or sprouts, an F1? Right, that'd be interesting. Let's wait and see what people say, Amanda. So you want reliable broccoli or sprouts?
Tony, are you going to be using some structures to sort of to grow yours around? Some spirals, something like that?
Tony says he's testing all of his in the fruit cage this year and allowing them 60 foot by 20. Oh, just a little bit of space then, Tony.
It'd be good to have like a child's climbing frame from the 1970s, wouldn't it? A playground climbing frame to grow your squash up. That'd be ideal.
I bet you Ali's got one of those.
Somebody out there has made an amazing frame for squash out of old scaffolding materials. There's got to be somebody out there. And if they haven't already, they will.
Yeah. Bush acorn, yes. Okay. Right, okay, thanks, Mel. Marathon, so Amanda, marathon for broccoli and Christmas for sprouts. What were our sprouts? We just put Christmas sprouts. I think it began with an L. Pretty sure it began with an L. You grow some up a frame. Yeah. Broccolini is an F1.
Okay.
You see, again, this is what's amazing. I always think it's the only one your wife will eat. You would think that all broccoli tasted the same, wouldn't you? But then again, when you look back, you would think all tomatoes tasted the same. There's good ones and bad ones. You would think all lettuce would taste the same. Actually, no, you can tell by looking at a lettuce.
And as Rue's saying in here as well, homegrown butternut squash is better.
Oh, yeah.
And small butternut squash are better.
Whatever reason, we just seem to fail with it.
We've done it once or twice, but the Crown Prince, foolproof.
Ali, I just mentioned you. Hello, Happy New Year. We were just talking about frames for squash. And Mike said an old kid's 1970s climbing frame would be brilliant. And I said, I bet you someone's already done that. I bet you Ali's done it and sprayed it red. Because I know you've got bedsteads and all sorts in your garden. So Ali really makes the most of their space. It's fantastic. So, oh, yes, please, Ali. Oh, fantastic. That's lovely. Okay, I grew a summer sprouting broccoli called broccoli this year, and it started cropping in July. It's still cropping. My goodness, how many plants did you have? Because
that's brilliant.
I mean, hello. Hi, me. Hello, Ali. I'm saying hello to you again. I think the thing is with us as well, as far as the greens are being concerned, we're too quick to throw them to the chickens. Oh, because we're big softies. There's only 2 chickens left now. And we're big softies, and they're at the back of the allotment. So on your way down, they're looking at you, and they're really pleased to see you, just like that. And you sort of think on your way down,
they could just do with a little bit of red Russian kale or a little bit of Cavolo Nero.
They don't like the red kale. They don't like red kale. They don't like red cabbage. There's something about the red.
Do you know what? They'll still eat it.
No. I give them
little cabbage plant sprouts.
I give them the green stuff. Okay. But yeah. Only ever grown marathon. I can't remember my sprouts. Begins with G. You're like me, Rue. Knew it began with L. But Groninger.
Germador? Is it Germador?
Sprouts.
Yeah. No. Am I getting that wrong?
Yes. Okay. So yeah. Right. So
Great Gatsby.
This year, let's have a quick little think about what have we done this? We haven't, have we? We're looking at the year ahead. Or is that where we come on to the squash patch?
Yeah.
Okay, we've done it. We're looking at the squash patch. I'm looking at doing some more writing. And I've shown you this before, I know. Using the trail cam. The trail cam. Again, this is thanks very much to the patrons. It's a basic trail cam. I think it might be the same as I've seen others using. I think it's the same. Is it the same as yours, Danny? It's called, I love the brand. It's called You So Good. What could be wrong? You So Good.
Do you know what would be amazing if we caught a Black Panther on there?
A Black Panther. That would be quite amazing and also very improbable.
There've been these tales about these big cats existing in the British Isles for many years. These imported animals that are supposedly living wild and not doing very much damage.
There's wallabies not too far away.
We could do with getting the evidence like the Staffordshire kangaroo, or a Black Panther.
It's a budget brand.
It might not get anything like that.
Well, what we have
but
had
something really unusual that would, we could sell it, sell the story, make our fortunes.
We could. That would be another direction to go in. And also, we could maybe dress up Rocky
as a Black Panther.
No, he'd make a good kangaroo.
He'd make a great kangaroo.
He's got those big back legs.
He's got a face like a kangaroo.
Yes, hasn't he? He just would need to stick his ears up a bit. But yeah, we can but dream.
He'd be no match for a kangaroo. I'll tell you that.
You have a cage for man. So do you keep yours up there, Tony? Because I was thinking about just leaving it up. Thing is, no one's going to see it at the back of the plot by our plot, are they? And that's where I want to have it. So we shall see.
And if they did see it, what would happen?
Well, they take it.
Is it a popular item that people steal and sell on car boots?
I would think so.
I don't think so.
I was going to say I'd steal it if I was that way inclined.
Yeah, but obviously I
would be caught doing it. Okay, I went to Jen at the start and I forgot. At least I'll catch you. Hi, Sandra. Don't worry, we're still nattering. You're showing your age there, Ali. Odd Socks on YouTube is growing squash up an old trampoline frame. Yes, I've seen that done before. That's good. That's good. The trail cam. Oh, Rue, you'd have a great time with the trail cam because I bet you've got all sorts around you. Because she's on quite a bit of open land, aren't you? I've got to say as well, while Rue's on, if you've been watching any of the 10 questions playlist, it's Rue's turn this week, and we had a lovely half an hour having a chat a week or so ago, doing the 10 questions. So do watch this week. And if you haven't been over to Rue's channel, go and have a look, because as she explains in the 10 questions, it's just beautiful. It's idyllic where she is, even though at the minute it's probably covered in 5 foot of flood water.
And she's got one of the best polytunnels going, hasn't she?
Yes. Oh, yes.
She's got a fantastically,
really well organised polytunnel.
Well-organised, productive polytunnel approach.
Yeah. I have just told everyone, Mel, and that's why I would never make a good miscreant. Is that a word?
You make a good miscreant.
I'd never make a good burglar of any sort, because I just have to say it was me, So yeah, pickled. Oh, now hold on, Danny. That sounds horrendous. A friend of mine does pickled curried gooseberries. I mean, that just says heartburn to me. Gooseberries, heartburn. Curried, heartburn.
I'm developing an ulcer just hearing that.
Oh my goodness. Oh, lovely to see you. Thank you, Garden Makeover. Okay, but can he hop? Rocky, yes, he probably can.
He can jump. He can jump over a 6-foot fence.
He can leap. Yes, he's good leap.
He's prodigious.
Pickled and curried. Yeah, I know it does sound dangerous. Okay. Oh, Ali's going to send you a tromboncino.
Thank you very much, Ali.
Ali. Okay.
And can I just say, any squash donations gratefully received by me?
Yes, absolutely. Perlite or the other. What a waste of gooseberries. Oh, I know. The thing is with us, we were talking to someone the other day about the gooseberries. Ours were actually really good this year, but the ones that were inherited that are at the plot are quite old, and we haven't wanted to dig them up because they fruit really, really prolifically. But the thorns, oh my goodness, even trying to pick gooseberries with those big gauntlet gloves on is nigh impossible. But trying to pick them with nothing on, I mean, even if you've just got short gloves on, you come away, it's awful, isn't it? So Mike hasn't tried. So the ones that we've got that are thornless, if we ever replace the old ones, we'll replace them with thornless ones, because it's a nightmare. But beautiful as soon as they're fresh. The red gooseberries in particular.
One of our gardening friends,
hi Rob,
popped round on New Year's Eve, was telling us that she had so many gooseberries that she's still eating hers now from the freezer, using them in all kinds of things.
Who's that?
Anne.
Oh, that's who we were talking to. Yeah. Yeah, she said there's 4 of them share, and it's like a half allotment. And she said they divide the gooseberries up between them, and she can't get rid of them.
Can't get rid of them. Massive glut.
Yeah, the red ones, Tony, as long as you get them when they're just ready. And usually that's just the blackbird. It's usually just hovering nearby, because those blackbirds know a second that they are sweet, that they'll be onto them. They don't get scratched.
And they're the sort of things that you want to eat them, don't you, then and there? They're so good.
Yeah.
They taste so great.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Planting gooseberry and apple cordons this year. Can't wait for them to establish. Just growing your own fruit. Grown vegetables is one thing, but it just seems like a treat. It's like having a pudding after a main course, isn't it? Because you're growing things that are sweet. More often than not, they're sweet. So, yeah. Red one's so sweet. Okay.
Someone mentioned canning earlier, John. Canning potatoes.
Canning is the same as. Help me out here. Canning is the same as bottling.
Is it?
It's a US term, isn't it? Canning and bottling. Whereas we say preserving. If we were going to do a jam, I don't know. Tell me the difference. I do know it.
I've never heard of anybody in the UK canning potatoes.
It's becoming more
although
popular
we do all love a canned potato when we have them, on the very rare occasions that we do.
You mean actually an actual can?
A lovely little round, those lovely
oh, bye Robin, nice
potatoes.
to see you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Yeah. It's what is the difference? Are canning and bottling the same? I'm assuming bottling are glass jars and canning is glass jar. One of them involves pressure cooking, so doing it that way. Yeah. Whereas if I was making a jam, or preserving a fruit, I would sterilize the jar, put the prepared fruit in the jar, add a syrup, and it would be warm, and then I put a lid on, and it would seal.
We have an answer here
Am I
from
right?
Danny.
They're the same, Tony. Thank you for that. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, hold on. So my potatoes, centrifugal night robin. I'm in Australia. Where am I? Raspberries. Yeah, raspberries are another thing, Freddie. Oh, fried. Okay. Canning is an actual can. Okay. Canning is a sealed jar submerged in boiling water to seal, then cooled. Right. Okay. So that's like pressure cooking. And that's what I mean. Canning is jars. So, all right then. So canning, is that the same as bottling? Is it a case that bottling is just that you're using larger pieces of fruit?
Okay.
I don't know.
I like the sound of hot bath.
A hot bath, yeah.
Yeah.
We make jar. It's called. Right. Okay. I'm still confused.
Danny, if you've made a video about that, I'm going to have to hunt that video down because I'm very interested in that. I'm very interested.
That could be one of your things.
Copying Danny.
Copying.
Waiting 6 months on from when Danny's done something.
And then saying that you just thought about it. Potatoes are pressure canned. Okay. Speaking of the canning, though, this brings you nicely. Love these links. Nicely onto your thing of storage.
Okay, so we were talking about roots, weren't we? We were talking about root vegetables.
We were.
We've been pretty wasteful, I think, at
ago.
times. So we've got a neighbour who was he's an ex-farm labourer. He's a very, very practical guy. And a couple of years ago, he showed me a couple of those big blue plastic pots, tubs that he had in his back garden.
Thanks, Jane.
And he kind of reached into these into one of these tubs and just pulled out this massive beetroot. And he basically stores all of his excess root veg in compost.
Yes.
So we've got a kind of a fairly sort of an economical green waste compost manufacturer nearby who sell compost for about £20 a ton or something like that. Yeah. So really, I wanted to ask anybody if they thought that was a good idea or whether there was something better as a medium to store things in longer term throughout the winter, because we've got to get better at storing the produce that we create.
Roots.
Yeah.
I mean, sawdust. We've tried that before, haven't we? We've stored in sawdust.
We tried potatoes and sawdust. They were very manky.
Do very well.
Quite quickly, yeah.
And I would think maybe sand, but sand could be damp, couldn't it?
Well, that's why I'm asking the question here, where we've got all these assembled amazing gardeners from all around the world.
Let's see how you store your roots. I mean, if you're in a big posh house, and maybe in the States it's a thing, you would have a root cellar, wouldn't you? But again, you'd have to have some sort of, you wouldn't just have your roots in boxes, would you? Oh, I suppose you do that with apples, don't you?
People are still talking about canning like that, All right, enough canning, everybody.
No, but there was an interesting thing. Potatoes, meats, anything that's not as acidic as tomatoes should be pressure canned for safety, which is, I mean, we don't can meat at all, do we?
No.
We do tomatoes
no.
and maybe apple sauce and things like that, and chutneys.
We tend to freeze a lot of stuff, and what happens there is even if you've got like a big upright freezer, it gets filled really quickly, doesn't it? If you've got a glut of tomatoes. So that's why I like Danny's idea.
Tony's just saying compost is best if you have the space, but he uses straw.
Okay.
Don't we use straw?
Is it just anything which keeps them kind of basically in darkness? Is that the kind of the key thing here?
I would imagine so. Damp sand, Ali says. Maybe it's too hot. Trombone. Oh, we're back on trombone. You can make a root cellar. Oh, Adi, have you got one? Make a root cellar out of an old chest freezer.
Adi, how do you do that? Are we burying this in the ground or something?
Well, I suppose it just, I mean, we've actually got a cellar under the house,
but it's a damp cellar.
And it is damp. Yeah.
And especially with the amount of water that we've had recently, it's going to be damper than ever, isn't it, this year?
We've got a neighbour who's got a chest freezer in her cellar. I suppose, yeah, but if you're in a chest freezer, not suggesting you go in a chest freezer.
I will go in a chest freezer, Jane. In case you lock me in.
Press the lid down. You can... Yeah, if you put the lid down, it's not going to get damp, is it? Inside the freezer is so well sealed. Whatever happens on the outside isn't going to impact, is it?
Ooh.
A clamp.
I like that idea.
Be good.
I've tried a clamp. I tried a clamp actually inside the polytunnel, Tony. I did that with potatoes, but
what do you mean by clamp?
It's where you create. You basically dig a hole, fill it with straw, put your vegetables on the straw. Is that right, Tony? And then straw on top of that, and then soil on top of the straw. So you kind of create almost like a big mound, kind of a nest for your veg.
Yeah, and Tony's saying here it's interesting as well. I suppose that's the same with apples, isn't it, Tony? Keep them separate from each other and allow air movement. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, I've still got some in the freezer, Danny, from a couple of years ago. Dark and moisture. Yeah, I think that's where I've got confused in the past, because I would think dark and dry. You know, we're always saying about everything, put them in a dark, dry, frost-free place. So a clamp would be good, but we're too wet. Dark and not touching. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, dig a huge hole and fill. Carrot clam. Oh, good old Steve. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. We might look back at that actually, because his videos are all still there.
I want to go back to this old fridge freezer.
Okay.
Or this freezer. Were we suggesting that if you had a freezer, an old fridge freezer, you could pop it into the cellar and just pop your vegetables straight into that, and then just close the door?
Well, no, you'd have to sit them on something, wouldn't you?
You could just pile them up inside, couldn't you? But
no, because you're not allowed to let them touch.
Of course not.
So you'd have to have racks or something, wouldn't you?
So, okay.
Or sand.
Okay. Racks. Would racks work, or would there be too much pressure there?
Well, it depends what you're putting in there.
I'm just fascinated by this idea that somebody might have a freezer in their cellar.
Our neighbour's got one.
Yeah, but not plugged in.
No. Well, it's not going to be plugged in.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't plug it in. You
Full
don't
of
plug
potatoes
it in.
and beetroot. I'm fascinated by that idea.
Well, she won't mind. We've got a spare key. Let's have a look.
Yeah. I'm with Tony on this one. I can't.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, Tony. Oh, I don't know. Racks and boxes with newspaper in between. Yeah, so like storing anything, really, isn't it?
Oh, no. I would never do that, Danny.
What's Danny saying?
Danny's talking about Jeffrey Dahmer, and he's brought the tone right down.
That's why he's here. Oh dear, beer barrel, Mike. Oh, we'd have to drink all the beer first. I think he could probably manage that. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, so we've got a few things to look forward to. Not a lot. We've got lots of
We're going to try and work harder as well this year. We're going to try and work harder to keep on top of everything.
I mentioned
at this plot, especially back end of the season.
I mentioned on Danny's the other day about I've got to start using my diary again this year, because I didn't write anything down last year. A few things around about January, February time when you're quite excited and think you're going to be really organised, and then just didn't bother. And I really miss it this year because I've got nothing to look back on and nothing to refer to. I'm hitting the plant with my head. But you never write anything down, do you?
I often write down the varieties of plants that I'm putting out in the allotment.
Where do you write that?
And then I managed to do that normally on something like a wooden fork from a canteen or something like that.
Thank you, Nancy.
Using permanent marker, which then just somehow washes off after about 5 weeks. So we're perpetually ending up not knowing what is where, unless it's something dead obvious, like, I don't know, Choggia beetroot, for example, that you can't possibly get wrong. You know,
they're a good beetroot to grow. Are they the ones? They're the ones with the stripes, aren't they? Rue, you like those, don't you?
They look lovely. They're beautiful.
Oh, they are beautiful, and they look so nice to serve, don't they? That's the other thing we need to be doing more, because we've got a stove up there. We haven't done much cooking at all on our stove.
You've not done much cooking at all, full stop.
No, that's true. But that's self-preservation on your part, isn't it?
So you did do your pasta salad tonight. They can share that one.
Pasta salad's very nice.
Timeless pasta salad.
Yeah, I mentioned the pasta salad. It was very nice and healthy and warm. So yeah, thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Rue. It was a Christmas present. And yes, I'll be taking it off round about May, when I take my allotment boots off as well. So it'll go straight from this to T-shirts and sandals, really. There's not much in between.
Jane,
so, yes.
Can we turn just very quickly to television, just for a second? Something that's not related to gardening.
No, we can't.
We've started watching the new season of Fargo. Don't know if anybody watches Fargo, but we're absolutely loving.
If you're a Fargo fan,
the current
you will
season
love
of Fargo.
It. But we're on series 5.
I think is it season 5 or 6 now? Season 5 now.
5, and it's just
what a great show.
It's just so good. It's so good. You might hate it. I think it is an acquired taste, and really, having watched every other series, you know, you get really excited about the new one coming out. So we are loving that.
Is there anybody out there who hasn't watched Fargo yet on Amazon or on whatever you want to watch it on? if there's anybody out there who hasn't seen it yet, you're in for a massive, massive treat.
Yeah. Well,
if you like TV, if you like crime drama with a bit of comedy thrown in there,
it's good fun. It's good fun.
Bizarre plot lines, really strange characters. It's just great fun.
Yeah. You haven't got time to watch TV, Tony. Nancy, I'm a knitter as well. I haven't knitted much recently.
Well, can I just say, Anna, you're saying that nobody's going to top Billy Bob. There's a character in the new series called Olin Munch, or Ol Munch, and he's an incredible. He's like a Coen Brothers character for the ages. He's great.
Yeah, he is good.
Yeah,
but still. Oh, you're not too far away then, Stephen. I love the accent. It's Minnesota. You know, and no, I can't do it.
Actually, in fairness, half the cast can't do it, can they?
No, but we think they can.
The accents are
very
strange.
We're not too familiar with the accent, but I absolutely love it. Fargo is a series, Rebecca. Oh, yes, the movie was fantastic. And when they made a series from it, I was saying, oh, that's terrible. That's sacrilege. You know, that movie was so good, but it's worth watching. It's really good.
Yeah. Best thing on TV.
Yeah. Are you giving up writing this year, Tony? Are you giving? I don't blame you. You worked really hard. Oh, dear. I don't know if you can watch it online. It's, what side's it on? Is it Prime?
It's on Amazon Prime in the UK,
right,
but it's probably on, I don't know, it's probably on HBO or something in the States. But it's just, you know, it's one of the very few shows that I'd want to watch back-to-back episodes of. It's great. So well written, so funny. Very little gardening in it.
Mike, I can't get a word in actually.
Quite a lot of murder.
It's a lot of murder. John Hamm's in this one, isn't he?
Oh, he's a freak.
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
She's amazing.
Oh, fantastic. Anyway, right, okay. Let's have a last word as to what you want to be doing this year. What are your plans? What's your ambition this year? Let's have that so we can end on a positive and really look forward to the next season. Let me know. Write it down. Now, there's a bit of a lag. So you writing it down and us reading it is going to be, might happen. So, yeah, we're looking forward to, I think we've decided that we're not going to get upset with the weather anymore. We're just going to accept it and go with it. That's something that I think is a bit of a mind change.
Well, not to get
mindset change.
Not to get too
change of
political.
Mindset.
Not to get political, but there are a few major world events that need to be sorted out.
They need sorted out. Yeah. That would be nice if they got sorted
out.
Right.
Some positive conflict resolution in 24. That would be for sure.
I've got an extra quarter. I tell you what, Mike, I've told him I'm going to be giving him jobs for our plot. It's too big. Steve, we're just about to go. We could have done with your advice.
Isn't Steve great with the last question?
With the last question, no, Steve. Steve, we've talked about the molecular quality of potatoes and all sorts of stuff. By the way, sorry, we're just going through, Steve, what everyone plans for next year, some positive things for next year. So, Freddie is going to grow different varieties. Grow more different varieties than the same old things. Okay, so you're expanding your varieties. That's good. Plan for the new season, Rebecca. Restart your allotment. And yes, get back on YouTube, Rebecca. We miss you. Okay, that would be lovely. Mike and Jane promised to visit me in 2024. You'll have to move a bit nearer, Danny, before we do that. Improve with the succession sowing. Lynn, it gets to me every year. And we're spoiled because we don't have to do it, but we should. Succession sowing is so beneficial. Steve Digwell, Steve, Amanda, is full winter beds. Nearly. Wow, yours are full. My goodness. Oh, okay. So you want them to have them full next year. That's incredible. Bit of time to sit in your garden chair and enjoy the space instead of rushing around. Vastly ignored advice there. Honestly. It's so important.
Aww.
You want to grow less? You're an oversower. I think we all are come springtime.
Jane, my rusty garden.
I'm trying to. Mike, I'll get your stuff in the post today. That's fantastic.
And if you'd like some Crown Prince seeds,
no, we can't.
Let me know.
We can't because
I've got one remaining big old Crown Prince squash.
Oh, yeah.
I would be happy to send out a few examples of those if anybody's interested in some crown prints to give them a try.
Steve, that's just rude.
Second class
do the rounds, and then you're 45 minutes away from dad. I am a terrible traveller, Tony. I don't like to be away from home for more than I need to.
And it's a shame because
I would love to go and visit people, but it's a cross I have to bear. But I don't travel well, so Malvern's about as far as I get. Worms are in the hotel tonight. Okay, so that's good. I'd go at straw bale gardening.
Oh,
right. Okay, that's it. I'd be interested to see how that goes. More effective mulching, Lynn. Make more compost. Oh, we say this every year, don't we? We never do it, do we? That's one of the things we've got to do. Sort our composting out. Are you still planning to come over, Rebecca? That'd be lovely. Do let us know.
We like a visitor, don't we? We like a visitor.
We've got a spare room now.
But we're not keen on visiting.
No, but we're very, very welcoming to visitors. So I was going to say, you're all welcome. Clearly, you're not all welcome at the same time. We can put people up every
We can do oat cakes.
We could do oat
Staffordshire oat cakes.
We could. Staffordshire lobby.
We can do a very nice
lobby
pasta salad.
Right, okay. I am Steve. That's just what I was about to say. Super soil. I'm really looking forward to using this. Steve, I still don't know what's in it. I know there's a website and I know it's organic, etc., but there's no actual list of what is in it. So I was going to do.
Looks like Marmite.
This is like a very, very, apparently I haven't opened it yet, Steve. Very, very fine, almost like a dust that you mix with water and you water onto your soil, and the microbes get the soil working really effectively. And I was going to do it on half of the polytunnel and not do it on the other half. But I think
Romanesco.
Ooh. But I think I might do it instead of my garlic.
Oh.
When my garlic goes in. Well, there's plenty of it.
Mm.
There's plenty of it. I know it does that. So yeah, so super soil Steve. I'm still, yeah. You're saying you've got some left. So yeah. Thank you, Danny. I'm terrible, and Danny knows this, I'm terrible at plugging things. But there is a Patreon channel, and I don't like saying it. You say it.
No.
We're awful. We're terrible business people. There is a Patreon channel. You're all welcome over there. Of course. There's lots of extra stuff over there. Microbes and enzymes. Patented. Ingredients still a secret. Why are they a secret? That's what worries me, Steve. It's just, if they're so good, why are they a secret? Or is it like Coca-Cola?
Or like John Innes. John Innes number 2, number 3, number 4.
What about number 1?
That was at the checkout the other day.
Okay. Thank you, Danny. You put it on 3 times there. Where's Locke? Where's Locke when you need him, eh? As veg plot thickens, you could make it to me, not far away, only Newcastle. Oh, Newcastle, I know. Yeah, I could make that distance. That's good. 59 inch. Only 14 thumbs up. Come on, please. Give us a thumbs up. Anna, give us a thumbs up.
They probably are Anna's.
Anna's probably used each one of her 14 thumbs to give us a thumbs up. Can I just say, okay, if you give us a thumbs up, I'll show you what chilies we're growing this year.
Ooh.
Oh, that's really bad, isn't it?
This is exciting.
It is. It's Tony! Yay, Danny! Oh, thank you, Tony. That's lovely. Oh, look, I say I'm terrible with business and all this sort of stuff. You know,
I'm already red.
I'm blushing. I think of course it's the red one. It's not the beer. That's
very
really
kind
lovely.
of you, Tony. Thank you.
Yeah, Danny. Tony sent me. Tony, whatever we get, we will. What do you call it? That's Rocky grumbling. What do you call it? We will dedicate it to you. So you might have. I don't know. What can we get that we can dedicate to Tony? We'll have to think about it. We might dedicate the tromboncino squash. It can be Tony Tromboncino.
Squash playground.
Oh yes.
Squash climbing bars.
Lovely. It'll go in the pot though. That's lovely. Thanks. Yeah, you have got me out the over. I've told you about YouTube. You know, you don't make money. Right, okay. In that case, I have got something just called, this is my chili seeds. This is from JB. That was called Korean. I asked him for something that's very, very not so hot, but quite sweet, because again, we were talking before about different flavors of things. I've always just thought a chili is something you put in food to make it hot. And I haven't appreciated the different flavors. And again, I was talking to someone the other day and they say, what's the point? They're just all hot. Why would you have something that blows your head off? But it's because it's a bit like when you say, well, all tomatoes taste the same, which is what we were talking about before. So I've got the Korean and I've got something called Champion. Okay, so yeah, so they're the chili seeds I'll be growing this year.
These donations from friends,
others as well. They're from JB,
course.
And he's good. So Tony,
he's a chili wizard.
Oh no, I know what I want to get as well for the chilies. What are the cheaper ones? Not the auto pots. Are they called Chili Grows? I haven't told you this yet. I was looking at getting some for the plot. I know there's auto pots, Chili Grows, and then another one. So I'm going to have a look at the Chili Grows because I really do want to make a go of them this year. So that's fantastic.
Quad Grow.
That was the other one. Quad Grow. They're
I
think they're the quite expensive ones. I said, does anyone actually use? I said we were going, didn't I? Does anyone actually use Quad Grows though? Are they actually worth it? Because from what I can work out, the auto pot has got like a wicking system, and the Chili Grow, and the Quad Grow's got like a valve. So it waters when the plant needs watering as opposed to just leaking all the time. So yeah, because it's a lot of money, isn't it, to just grow a few tomatoes or something.
Not anymore, it's not.
You use autopots, right? Okay, so Tony, are they the ones? They're basically the bigger Chili Grow. There are they the ones that have just got the wick? I'm saying just. They've got the wick in that you pull through the bottom of the thing, because yeah. Right. So the autopot has a valve. Right. So the autopot is the posh one. Okay, we're not getting one. But yeah, I think we're going to have to, if we're going to make a go of chilies this year, and I would like to, we're going to have to do that. Okay. I've got the lemon drop chili seeds as well, Rue, actually. I've got some of those downstairs. So yes, that will be interesting to do. Okay, right then. Ask them to sponsor you, Jen. It doesn't work, Ali. And when it does, people get cross. So, yeah, I'm sure Tony wouldn't notice at all if I pinched a few, would you? Maybe that would get me travelling. The idea of pinching a few of Tony's auto things. I don't think so. Right, okay, yeah, I bet you notice everything, Tony. Okay, look, it is actually coming up to 8:30. We've been an hour and a half. I think we've covered everything, haven't we, really?
You have.
What would you like to cover, Mike?
I've done my bit.
You see, you'd have been finished at 7:10.
Fargo, even threw that in there?
Even Fargo. I know, even Fargo.
TV recommendations?
Yeah, we can do all that. Okay, Korean chilies. Oh, lemongrass. Oh, let me just say, you mentioned, oh no, we were talking about mashed potato squash before. You did sweet potato squash the other day. Sorry, mash the other day. And our neighbour is wanting to grow sweet potatoes. And as far as I can see, you grow them from slips. I've never tried it. But when I've looked online to look at the price of slips, I think there's something like £20 for 6 slips, something like that. So just very, very quickly, as a last little thing, has anyone grown them before? And do you have to get these very expensive slips to grow them? I'm probably not fit enough to get around.
I've never noticed a sweet potato sprouting before.
No. Well, it's like, you imagine a potato.
Yeah, no.
It's got eyes on it, hasn't it?
But it's not a potato, is it?
No, I know, but it still gets eyes on. You think what a sweet potato looks like? It's got eyes.
I'm sure it does, but I've never seen one kind of doing what potatoes do in the cupboard when you're not looking, which is sending out their sneaky little arms, that grow to incredibly long.
Monster sweet potatoes.
Yeah. I've never noticed a sweet potato doing that.
Are you going, Ali?
Ali. Okay, you half bury it sideways.
Oh, lovely to see you, Ali. Thank you.
Okay.
Sideways, and it's right. Okay, so it doesn't already have the little eyes on them. Interesting. I suppose the tubers.
Okay.
Okay. All right, then.
Please send more. Yeah, make your own slips. Ali, we could do some advice on that, I think.
Hold on, Steve. Have you got a big write-up in Kitchen Garden magazine? Have you? Or have you, Rob? Hold on, we need to get to this comment. Steve, Digwell Greenfingers, big write-up in Kitchen Garden magazine, not read it all yet. Let's have a look. Have you got something in there? Oh, that's really good. Let me know. Make your own slips. You can make your own slips how? Just by a thin slice of peel. I'm assuming maybe half an inch, centimetre, half a centimetre.
We're completely making this up.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
No, but they're saying there. Rob's allotment, massive price tag. Okay. Right. Lots of things to think about. And I can only just I not sell out. Oh, the write-up about quad rows. Yeah, all right, Steve. That's great. Okay. I will. Mike's nudging me now. Yeah, look, he's not very subtle, is he? It's okay. We are going to go. I will see you on Danny's Live on Thursday at 7:00, along with. Do you want me to say, Danny? Shall we actually mention him or not? I don't know if we should. He was very rude about me not being very fit. So it's Tony. Tony's going to be on, and the lovely Nigel from Muddy Boots. He's going to be on as well. So yeah, hopefully you'll all be at Danny's. Danny, do you want to put a link up now? And we'll see you all over there. But until then, thank you so much for coming along. And you know what it's like when you're trying to stream, you can never find the right button. But I'm just going to say thank you again and have a lovely 2024. Cheers.
Happy New Year.
I told you I couldn't do it.
Smiling like a pro.
Ah.